What up, Search fam? Sade here. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. If you are new, my name is Sade. I'm out here curating and co-creating a cool ass life. And 2026 is about to be here before we can really sneeze, you know? So let's talk about some books that I'm looking forward to in the next year. New releases as well as books that are just on my TBR that I'll get to at some point. Now, whether you are new here or you keep coming across my little corner of the internet, but you haven't subscribed, please join my internet family. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell and be made aware of every time I post a new video, which is usually on the weekends. All right, my friends, here we go. So, again, I'm gonna try not to be before you long. Now, I will be talking about books that I've seen in my wanderings on the internet that I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna have to read that. But there are some that I have that I think they released in the last year, maybe two. But I'm like, oh, I'm gonna seriously put this on my to read pile. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my computer, which has my story graph as well as the synopses for some of the books that I'm gonna read to you. So let's start with The Art of Loving You by Natasha Bishop. This is the second book in the Forever Falling series, which the first book is Only for the Weak, and Only for the Weak, love, 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 love. And the internet has gone crazy over it. So this book, it's about Danny Jenkins, who is a model turned influencer. She doesn't have time for taking a risk on romance. She prefers to keep things casual, but when her mentor, Tanya, dies, she's brought face to face with the man who broke her heart. Artist Micah Wright is a protector who loves fiercely. He's known as the man everyone can count on, but he's never forgiven himself for letting down the woman he loves. When Tanya's dying wish, forcing Danny and Micah back together, is a complete scavenger hunt road trip, Micah sees a second chance for them to get things right. Tensions are high as their undeniable connection reignites, and Tanny refuses to let her guard down. As they continue their journey, Mike is determined to prove to Danny that love is worth fighting for. But can she release her fears and relearn the art of loving? So this is going to be really adorable. Like I said, I loved Only for the Weak, so I'm excited about this. I will also be picking up How to Fail at Dumping an Alpha Dragon by Liz E. Cooper. This is part of the How to Fall series, which is Omegaverse and, shifters and the like. But I've read only two of the books in the series, so I have to get caught up with the others, but this is the newest one. And if you did not know this about me, I love dragons. I just love dragons, period. That's all I can say for myself. Now, I'll read you all the description. When their fake marriage leads to threats on their lives, where can these former lovers run? Omega Fairy Jaleesa didn't want an arranged marriage, but a painful past pushed her in a dangerous direction, leaving her with regrets and few options. When the ex who broke her heart suddenly appears, offering to help her get out of the marriage, she eagerly uses him as an escape. Alpha Dragon Ivan spent years searching for the love of his life who left without a trace. When he finally finds her and learns she's being forced into a marriage, he happily agrees to marry her for 1 year with the hope that he can make the marriage real. However, the pair's reunion has upset both sides of their families and many powerful foes. Now the bickering pair must thwart assassination attempts by unknown forces that take them from the Fae to the human realm. When such an attack curses Ivan to slowly lose all memories of Jaleesa, they are quickly forced to find the real reason their union is such a threat before it's too late. Will they be able to rekindle their love despite the challenges, or will they be torn apart for good this time? So we got second chance, romance, star-crossed. It also says it's cozy-ish, mid-burn, high spice, action romance. That's what it says. So I'm excited. We know I love Lizzie Cooper's writing, so I'm super excited about this one. I also recently saw Honey by Imani Thompson, and I was like, okay, I'd be down for this. So this is for people who liked Butter, My Sister the Serial Killer, Such a Fun Age, Lester, or Boy Parts. And I did like My Sister the Serial Killer. That's the only thing on the list that I've read, and I liked it a lot. I was flabbergasted, so I'm excited about this. But the It says, but the Cambridge professor sitting opposite has manipulated her friend, stolen her research. When she flicks the bee into his San Pellegrino, she thinks he'll get a nasty sting. Then he's dead. And Yrsa, who, let's face it, has been bored for a while, is alive. Comic, sexy, addictive, unpredictable, Honey launches an exciting new voice into fiction. The first time Yrsa doesn't intend to kill. It's such a sweet feeling, finally having some control. Okay. I've been liking a good murder mystery, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fire. I also want to read There's Only One Sin in Hollywood, and I've heard a couple of other booktubers talk about it. This is described as a cinematic razor-sharp novel following a backlot fixer's daring investigation into the suspicious death of a closeted Black actor within the glamorous world of Hollywood, from the best-selling author of My Government Means to Kill Me, which I have not read. Xavier C. Barlow, one of Hollywood's young Black stars taking the industry by storm in late 1950s, is in Skyline Studios' ambitious attempt to rival Sidney Poitier's burgeoning success. His arrival into the industry is calculated, his charm is magnetic, and his seductive screen presence appeals to both audiences and celebrities across generations. But years later, after Xavier dies at the height of his fame, Aaron Toussaint, Skyline's designated backlot fixer who helps the studio stars stay as deep in the closet as humanly possible, is finally ready to expose the powerful culprits behind his untimely death. Written as part confessional, part cri de coeur from Aaron's panoramic lens, There's Only One Sin in Hollywood is a searing portrait of the movie industry as a manicured minefield and a compelling journey into the queer history of Los Angeles. Ooh, so, okay. So that's got a little bit of like historical fiction in it. I'm not mad at this. I'll be finishing the Secret World of Maggie Gray series with The Three Brothers, which I just got the pre-order for the audiobook from Libro FM. So that'll come in January. I'm excited about that. It is going to hopefully nicely wrap up the Maggie Gray series, which I have enjoyed very much. I think I'm gonna go into this one blind. Like, I've read the first two books, but I'm not going to read the synopsis or anything. I just know I need to finish it. So y'all are gonna go with me on that journey. I just saw that Tia Williams is dropping a book next year called The Missed Connection. And y'all have heard me talk about A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. A lot of people talk about 7 Days in June, which I have not read yet, and The Perfect Find, which I think I'm actually going to put on my TBR for this year. But this one is described as Williams' return with an intensely romantic, deliciously sexy tale about a woman searching for her handsome seatmate on a European flight, and the unexpected places her hunt for love leads her. Sasha Cruz knows types. As a booked and busy casting agent, she's always casting at happy hour, the post office, the grocery store, everywhere. She's all about finding the perfect person to slot into the perfect role. What she doesn't do, however, are relationships. Too much energy, not enough time. Men find her intimidating, and she likes it that way. But when Sasha's seated next to a mysterious, brooding, handsome Italian man on the way to a work trip in Paris, sparks fly, but they miss the chance to exchange contact information. Now convinced that she's lost out on her soulmate, Sasha's on a manhunt to find seat F. Sasha enlists her work friend to help her in the search, but when she accidentally emails the entire global company, colleagues around the world begin looking for seat F too. Oh my God. With some finding love along the way. Meanwhile, Sasha takes matters into her own hands, hiring a smoldering detective who complicates matters in unforeseen ways. Okay, period. Okay. I talked about this in my winter TBR, which is Psycho Pomp and Circumstance by Eden Royce. This is set in Reconstruction era, and it's about Fee St. Margaret, who is born into a family of free Black business owners in New Charleston. Coddled to within an inch of her life by a mother who refuses to let her daughter live a life other than the one she dictates, Fee yearns to demonstrate she's capable of more than just simply marrying well. When word arrives that her Aunt Cleo, long estranged from the family, has passed away, Fee risks her mother's wrath to step up and accept the role of Pomp, a highly honored duty of planning the funeral service. Traveling alone to the town of Horizon in her unsettling home, Fee soon discovers that visions and shadows beckon from every reflective surface, and that some secrets transcend the borderlines of life and death. I read a lot of things. I read across genres. And I've talked about That's How They Get You by Damon Young, formerly of Very Smart Brothers, the blog. And so I'm finally going to get to that. And it is an anthology about Black American humor, which I can't wait to read. It has essays from a lot of different people, including one of my own colleagues, Ashawn Crawley. So 2026 is going down. I've heard good things about the text, so I'm very excited about it. Now, whether I'll own it or not, that's going to be the question. I also will be reading Loving a Witch is Truly Foolish by Aura Hayes. I read Loving a Vampire is Totally Chaotic in 2025, and I thought it was hilarious. And I was immediately like, ooh, yes, next book, because it has to deal with her bestie and the grumpy vampire that they save. And so that comes out in 2026. So I'll be looking forward to reading that. Her Monstrous Beast by E.P. Bali. I'm not going to talk about that too much. It's the 5th and the last book. Maybe I can't wait. I'm probably going to have to read it because the audiobook will be just going into production when 2026 starts. The Arachnid by Ivy Ophelia is a sequel to The Poisoner, which I told y'all I really enjoyed. And it ended on a cliffhanger when I thought it might have been a standalone. So I was just like, ugh. So the main character has fled Britain and ends up in New York. But the creature can't let her go. So we got to see what happens. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Now, I'm extremely excited because I did not realize that a Toni Morrison biography is coming out, and that is On Morrison by Namwali Serpell. And I can't wait because I've been on a biography kick especially with Black writers. So I'm very much excited about that. Lastly, I'm going to do Comedic Timing, which I saw from another booktuber. It was like a short thing. It's already out, but it is about Naina, who is ready for this to be her year. She's entered her mid-20s, landed a steady job, broken up with her intensely passionate older girlfriend, Sophia, and committed to hustling her way into a creative career. But the city doesn't exactly embrace her with open arms, at least not until she meets David, an aspiring filmmaker and collaborator who makes New York start to feel more like home. But is this a professional connection or a romantic one? And does opening herself up to a relationship with David mean compromising her sexual identity and her aspirations? So I'm excited. I think I'm going to have a fantastic year for reading. What are y'all reading and looking forward to coming out in 2026? Let me know in the downstairs area or the comment section. And as always, friends, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend about the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.